Dhම්ma-Dhම්ma-Pratipannaya Buddhaṃ pujēmi, Dhammaṃ pujēmi, Sanghaṃ pujēmi. I worship the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha by practicing Dhamma in accordance with the teachings, in accordance with the Dhamma. May this humble offering be accepted. Thank you. So today we have opportunity for questions if there are any. आप लोगों को अगर कोई पिछले हफ्ते में जो भी हमने चर्चा की है उसमें से कुछ चीज़ जची नहीं लगा, कुछ गड़बड़ है, कुछ समझ नहीं आई, तो you can ask me. That will be the good thing, so that we understand what is being said and not just listen to it. We understand it thoroughly as far as possible. क्योंकि तभी उसका लाभ होगा, तभी हम उसको प्रैक्टिस में ले पाएंगे. All that we are speaking, in a sense, is how to cultivate panya. How to convert sangya, the normal perceptions which we have, how to convert them into anicca sanya, dukkha sanya, anatta sanya. If they get really converted, it means panya is developed, will be fully liberated. So that's how we've taken a route, a particular route of perceptions. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. And if there are no, then Deepthi, you have some, you can ask.
लेकिन अगर किसी को क्वेश्चन, अगर आपको ख्याल आ जाए तो आप अपना रेज हैंड कर दीजिएगा चैट पे, या आप डायरेक्टली सर से पूछ लेना एट एनी पॉइंट. मेरे सामने जो प्रश्न है मैं इस समय वो पूछ लेती हूँ. एक तो यही कि हम जो मरणानुसति प्रश्न जितने भी मेरे पास हैं इस समय वो मरणानुसति को ही लेकर हैं. तो एक ये प्रश्न कि मरणानुसति जो है वो करने के लिए हम मृत्यु का परसेप्शन ले रहे हैं. अगर हम उसको उस तरीके से प्रैक्टिस करते हैं जैसे सर ने एक दो बार गाइडेड मेडिटेशन के थ्रू करवाया था, तो हमें तो कोई एक्चुअल एक्सपीरियंस तो है नहीं डेथ का, तो क्या हम उसको एक अप्रोक्सीमेशन इमेजिनेशन के थ्रू कर रहे हैं, और क्या ऐसा करना ठीक है?
We are not trying to imagine that we are dying, and I mean ऐसा भी करते हैं लोग. अजान नम्रों ने एक रिट्रीट में ऐसा कराया था. We are not doing that. We are actually trying to visualize what are the likely preparations which we should do, which will be helpful to us in order to overcome the fears, anxieties, and the non-acceptance of the phenomena of death, and preparing ourselves so that our next life is good, based on the teachings of the Buddha. भगवान की जो शिक्षा है उसके आधार पे जैसा हमारी समझ में आता है उसके अनुरूप मृत्यु के क्षण का काफी महत्व है. सारे जीवन का महत्व है, और वो सारा जीवन ही डिटरमिन करेगा कि मृत्यु के क्षण पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं. तो उस संदर्भ में हम समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. We are not doing a guided meditation on Marananasati in that sense, and not assuming that okay, we are dying and then slowly the body is hardening. जैसे रमन महर्षि जी के बारे में कहा जाता है, he simulated that kind of it. He lied down on the ground and said, "I'm dying and dying," and then visualized what's going to happen, who is dying, and then that body is dying, but there is something who is knowing that what is dying. He also didn't die, he only visualized that, and you know the consequences of that were there. तो हम लोग बेसिकली तैयारी कर रहे हैं ऑन व्हाट बेसिस कि भाई मृत्यु तो किसी भी समय आ सकती है. हमको ये भ्रम रहता है कि अभी तो हम यंग हैं, अभी तो मुझे कोई रोग नहीं है तो मृत्यु कैसे आ जाएगी, अभी तो I mean, we don't question like that, but we implicitly assume कि ऐसे ही होगा. ऑफ कोर्स सब लोग यंग ही थोड़ा मरते हैं, बुढ़ापे में मरा जाता है. बट वी नो कोरोना वायरस has shown all those assumptions are not valid, and then it causes tremendous non-acceptance. You know, a comparatively young man knowing that now he's not able to breathe, he's going to die. It's extremely painful situation. And then on the other hand, a person who is really mature, who understand that, he accepts it and says, fine, I'm prepared. I know of my friend who was fully prepared and he passed away peacefully. And the other person was constantly struggling. I know of two things very closely. So the whole idea was that we understand that death is certain, it's unavoidable, we have not crossed it over, which are our contemplations, and what are the implications of that, ताकि हमारा मन जब भी ऐसी परिस्थिति आए तो one should be able to accept it and not get see that it is कोई बहुत सा एक आपत्ति आ गई मुझ पे या वो कोई बहुत भारी ट्रेजेडी हो रही है कि मैं मर रहा हूँ. Because if that kind of a thought happens at the time of death, then there will be aversion in the mind and next life will be painful. So we're trying to prepare for that death in that manner. And the other thing is to see that if we are having any aversion or craving towards something, we try to put it off. We try to dispel it at that moment. किसी के प्रति नाराजगी है तो उसको त्याग दें, किसी के प्रति एक्सेसिव ग्रीड है, अटैचमेंट है तो उसको त्याग दें, बिकॉज छूट तो जाएगा ही खुद ही. So that's the kind of counseling we were trying to understand and do, so that when that situation arises, as and when it arises, and we don't know when it will arise. It may come tonight for me, you never know, for anybody. So are we at peace? Basically what it means that we should be at peace all the time. We can't be at peace at the time of death if we are constantly agitated and restless throughout the life, isn't it? So that's the power of this contemplation, that when you start thinking about that, then it goes back and permeates your day-to-day life, and it sends the message, बदलो भाई अपने आप को, चेंज करो. इस स्थिति में अगर एक बहुत भयंकर किसी के प्रति द्वेष है, रिवेंज लेने का भाव है, उस स्थिति में अगर मृत्यु हो गई तो अगले जन्म में तो नरक में जाएंगे या कहीं और वोफुल प्लेन में, एनिमल रेल्म में, या if you are getting in human realm, you'll be in deep distress. So if you understand that, if you believe in Buddha's teachings, in that case, so that's the preparation for that purpose. And having seen death from close quarters at least two definite occasions, one was a false signal, I know it is very helpful. It's very, very helpful.
फिर तो हम में से कुछ लोग ऐसे भी हो सकते हैं जिनको अभी रीबर्थ जो है उसके ऊपर बिलीफ नहीं है, वो तो हमें एक बिलीफ के आधार पे ही मानना होता है अपनी साधना में. तो देन हाउ इज द डेथ कॉन्टेम्पलेशन हेल्पफुल टू देम, बिकॉज देयर इज नो इंस्पिरेशन और मोटिवेशन कि अगला जन्म कैसा होगा.
Well, the fact of, it's not very politically correct to say that, but I don't mind saying it. The fact of rebirth is an integral part of teaching of the Buddha. We are not talking here of stress relief. Of course, if your objective is stress relief, who cares? Doesn't matter. If we are talking of really complete cessation of suffering, if we say there is no rebirth, then we are denying the fundamental teaching of the Buddha, actually. It may sound very orthodox or whatever, but that's the fact. It is my understanding is that. If we say that this is all that is, there's a similar question in one of the suttas, कि हम तो रीबर्थ में विश्वास नहीं करते, तो अच्छे काम क्यों करें, जो मर्जी कर लें। तो कहते हैं भाई देखो, अच्छा चलो नहीं करते, तो अगर अच्छे काम करोगे तो इस जन्म में भी लाभ होगा ना। और मान लो तुम्हारा विश्वास की रिवर्स नहीं है, गलत निकला, तो क्या होगा, तो पता नहीं कहाँ जाके फंसोगे। तो अच्छे काम करने में रिवर्थ है या नहीं है, फायदा ही रहेगा भाई, तुम्हारा नुकसान नहीं होगा। So even if you say that, okay, I don't believe in, but then is there any harm in keeping the mind peaceful? You say, no, I will be agitated all the time. Okay, you'll suffer throughout the life. And if your belief that there is no rebirth is wrong, then you'll be in deep trouble. You'll be in deep trouble. So even as a strategy, if you want to see, it makes sense. But for this group of people who are present here, for all senior meditators, I presume we don't have any doubt about it, about the fact of rebirth. If we have, then we should clarify it. We should study the Buddha's teaching, see, because then we deny all the teachings of the Buddha. We deny these abhinyas, isn't it? His first abhinya was, I had so many births and this and that, and 90 eons he saw. Then that people, second abhinya was, people are reborn and see, this is the karma, this karma leads to this, this was his mind state at the death, this was the next life, and he sees all of it. And then he understands, yeah, law of karma works like that. And third abhinya was that I have been freed from all defilements and there is no more rebirth. So you're denying all the three then. You are denying the enlightenment of Buddha. So then we have to see. Then we should go follow secular Buddhists who have a certain fixed agenda, and perfectly fine. I have no quarrel with that. I'm not saying that's wrong or that should not be done, but I'm saying that that's my understanding. So I will only say what I understand. And I presume that all senior meditators, I know most of you personally, have that understanding it. Because if you have faith in Buddha's enlightenment, if you have faith in Tipitaka, if you have faith in the talks and discourses which he gives all over the place, then that's an integral part of the teaching. Law of karma and rebirth are integral part of his teaching. If you say that we don't believe in those, then okay, you can have your own brand of Buddha's teachings. That's fine. That's also fine. But that's not what appeals to me. It's as simple as that.
सर एक क्वेश्चन ये भी है कि जो हमने ये कहा था कि मरणानुसति को प्रोटेक्टिव मेडिटेशन या प्रोटेक्टिव चैंट की तरह यूज लिया जाता है, तो इसका क्या कारण है? हाउ डज इट सर्व एज अ प्रोटेक्टिव चैंट?
I had said that Girimananda Sutta is used as a protective chant because of the fact that उस सूत्र में भगवान ने आनंद से कहा था कि ये 10 सतियां संन्याय जाके गिरिमानंद को सुना दो और वो शायद ठीक हो जाए, वो भी ऐसे कहते हैं. And of course he does get well. So because of that reason, Girimananda Sutta is used as a protective chant. That's what I had said. Marananasati by itself is not used as a protective chant. That is a practice, not a chant. These chants, for example, which we do, 5 daily chants or Anityata ka Vivechan, they are reflective chants, which means they are giving us an opportunity of reflection on Dhamma. They are not parittas. Of course, Anichavata Sankhara is used at the time of funeral rites so that all the people understand. That's an opportunity for all the people to understand that this is the way nature operates. Human body is a sankhara, it is created by conditions and it wills. Whatever is compounded will disintegrate, and that's what is happening. So there's no need to make a big issue out of person dying. That's normal. So that only to that extent that chant is used in the funeral rites in Buddhist countries.
आज जो हमने ये पूनम जी ने जो चैंटिंग करी, आई हैव नॉट गॉन बियॉन्ड, मैं मृत्यु के परे नहीं गया हूँ या मैं एजिंग के परे नहीं गया हूँ, तब मुझे स्ट्राइक किया कि इसमें ऐसा नहीं कहा गया कि मेरी कि समथिंग टू द इफेक्ट कि मैं मेरी मृत्यु नहीं हो सकती. इट इज अ रिमाइंडर कि मैं उसके परे नहीं गया हूँ. इट सीम्स टू इंडिकेट कि परे जाया जा सकता है. Is that the case?
So an arhat will not be chanting such things because he has gone beyond that. A fully enlightened being would not chant on his own. Of course, in a group he will say that ठीक है सब कह रहे हैं मैं भी कह देता हूँ. But he doesn't. He may keep silent on that because that's not true actually. He's gone beyond aging. He's gone beyond. He means in that sense, colloquial sense. He has transcended death. No more births, no more deaths, no more aging. So that's the implication which we can understand.
तो सर ऐसे लगता है कि मरणानुसति के दो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स लगते हैं. एक तो ये कि जैसे आपने पहले पिछले कुछ सेशंस में बताया कि लेजीनेस, इंडोलेंस वगैरह को हम मिला सके कि भाई मैं इसके परे अभी नहीं गया हूँ, सो आई हैव थिंग्स टू डू, आई स्टिल हैव वर्क टू डू. और दूसरा ये कि जब तक वो काम बाकी है, ऑल्सो टू प्रिपेयर फॉर वंस इवेंचुअल डेथ, क्योंकि वो तो आने ही वाली है. इज दैट द केस?
There are so many kind of branches of this. You know, if we do this Marananasati, Maran Sanya को अगर हम डेवलप करें ना, भाविता बहुलीकता जैसे कहा जाता है, प्रैक्टिस इट अगेन एंड अगेन, सो क्या होगा? एक बात तो स्पष्ट है, जैसे उस सूत्र में भी कहा गया, गिव राइज टू एनॉर्मस धर्म संवेग, because you're saying I may die next moment, I may die next moment. एक ब्रेथ लिया है, अंदर गया, बाहर आए या ना आए, it's very fact true. Breath has gone in, and if it doesn't come out, finished. Or if it has gone out and doesn't go in, you're finished. So that's the kind of transience of the phenomena of life. So once we understand it, then जो हमारी धर्म संवेग है वो जागेगा, and we'll not be able to waste our time. We'll not be able to spend our time in frivolous activities. It doesn't mean that we'll not relax. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that we'll not take rest, but we'll be mindful. And even if you have to, as householders, if you have to engage in some entertainment or anything, it will be of the kind which has the same flavor. जैसे कल मैंने आपको भजन वगैरह की बात कही थी ना, कबीर के भजन जो है, you listen to them, they're good music, good, nicely sung, but then don't get lost in music. That's the practice actually. Is listening to what are called चेतावनी भजन, उनका नाम भी अच्छा दिया गया, चेतावनी भजन, is an exercise in mindfulness. It's a reflective exercise, enormously reflective exercise. So you listen to it, and it is done in a gradual manner. No, it's not done bluntly, done gradually. So you listen, and you can listen to it again and again. Sometimes you listen to its music, you feel good, okay. Other times you remember, no, we should understand kya kya rahe. And then slowly and slowly and slowly it begins to seep in. And so you have a wholesome entertainment, which is not just an entertainment in the usual sense of the term, but it's transforming you. It's working on you deep inside. When you say, it's like chanting the same thing again and again. So those are the kind of consequences of this kind of Marananasati. How do you do it? How you integrate it in our day-to-day life. So that is one aspect of it, isn't it? And then once we realize that the mind state at the time of death is so important, and we also realize that is not going to happen, that my mind state at that will be full of metta and karuna and goodwill, and while the rest of my life I am always full of aversion and complaint and animosity. It's not going to happen like that. So I must inculcate those qualities which I wish I should have at the end of my life right from the now. So it gives you a motivation how to transform the life. Right? So that's the kind of, it's called जैसे लीवन होता ना, ये दूध में थोड़ी सी दही डालते हैं ना, तो धीरे 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 सारे दूध को दही बना देते हैं. So that's how this Marananasati works. It will slowly and slowly encompass all aspects of your life. It will make you see, because any moment this can happen if you really take it sincerely. Any moment it can happen. And if you have understanding what it means, if you have paticca samutpad understanding, sankhara pachya vijnana, vijnana pachya nam roop pachya saraya. If these links are clear to us, how it happens at the time of death, how the sankhara arises and gives rise to new vijnana, which conditions the nam rupa, which conditions the senses. You have to be very cautious. मैं कैसा संस्कार बना रहा हूँ और कैसा मेरा विज्ञान जागा है और कैसा विज्ञान जागा है तो वैसा ही मुझे नाम रूप मिलने वाला है. If I generate enormous anger and revenge, I'm likely to become and get a life as a tiger or some such thing. And there's so many instances in suttas where Buddha quotes a Mahabrahma born as a worm in a dung beetle. So those stories are meant, those suttas are meant for that purpose, to create the Dhamma Samaya. So that's another way of really understanding the importance of Marananasati.
निखिल जी को कुछ पूछना है शायद.
हाँ जी.
सर एक बार संडे टॉक में आपने 2 वर्ड यूज करे थे, सोर्स बेस्ड मेडिटेशन एंड कोर बेस्ड मेडिटेशन. वो मुझे समझ नहीं आया था, तो आपको कृपया बताएं.
These are, I mean, generally people speak of these things. कि एक तो ये है कि आप एक गोल रख रहे हैं और उस गोल के हिसाब से एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड मेडिटेटिव प्रोसीजर्स फॉलो कर रहे हैं. ठीक है जी. और दूसरा है दैट यू वांट टू लुक एट द सोर्स. यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट द होल suffering is because of misunderstanding about the nature of reality. And the nature of reality is that the fundamental nature is there is a pure consciousness which is pervading the cosmos, which is operating through us, and everything else is the object of that consciousness. So objects are not we. So when the consciousness is the reality, everything else is anicca, dukkha, anatta. Consciousness is not anicca, dukkha, anatta. So the source space says if we move in that direction, we'll naturally be able to move from this domain of anicca, dukkha, anatta to the domain of which is nicca and of course anatta, but nicca, which is not changing, which is always there and can give us a support and can become our refuge. So that's the kind of thought process behind it. In one case, we are trying to systematically work and remove our defilements and raise our samadhi and do all that. In second case, all these things would have been necessary, but the focus is on the moving toward the source of all the phenomena in the world, which is the pure consciousness, which is permeating. Okay.
गीता.
नमस्ते सर.
नमस्ते.
सर आपने जब लास्ट टाइम कर्म विपाक चित्त के बारे में बताया था एंड एवरीथिंग इज नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन डेस्टिनी, इट गिव्स सम काइंड ऑफ अ कॉन्फिडेंस. Like our present moment is very important, and even if there is a karma vipak, and if we are practicing and doing wholesome action, and one unwholesome action, and entire time if you're having wholesome deed, then automatically it will find a soil of wholesome during the time of death. So my question is, even if you, while you meditate, like if you have a lot of pain in the body, so it is in somehow it is protected क्योंकि कुछ extreme level पे ना जाने से it comes in the form of a pain in the body. So if that is the reason, then Mahamoggallana had practiced it so well, and he was like doing a lot of wholesome activities and wholesome deeds. So at the time of his death, he had a very gruesome, violent death. तो मुझे पूछना है कि like how is it, like because the present situation is very powerful than the past. And तो वो कर्म विपाक के हिसाब
Get
से
it, yeah. There are 5 karmas which are called to be destructive karmas, from whose effect you will never be able to get out. And they will produce their effect again and again and again till their effect, I mean, as a result of which you're bound to go to hell. There's no possibility of escaping it. And then after you have fulfilled that tenure in the hell, even then some residue may remain. What are these 5 or 6? First, killing your mother or father. Second, killing an arahant or a pachek Buddha. Then injuring a Buddha, because you can't kill a Buddha by any means. Injuring a Buddha and making his blood to come out. And then causing a schism in the Sangha, breaking the Sangha and dividing into 2 parts and things like that. So these are some of the highly destructive karmas, which will definitely take a person to the deepest hell. And then when he kind of that karma's effect is waned, it may wane completely, or it will carry forward in subsequent life also. So therefore, that phenomena with the great disciple Mahamoggallana, because in one life, some eons before that, he had, at the instigation of his wife, he had poisoned his parents because there were some typical Saas Bahu problems maybe, and he poisoned his parents, and that karma was so heavy that he had to spend a lot of time in hell, and then, but his all positive karma was also there working simultaneously. So once that period in hell was over, then he came out and continued with his journey. The stream of consciousness continued its journey.
If even in spite of doing the wholesome action, the present moment is not so important in that way, then like
for these karmas, there's no respite.
So then, what about Angulimal, sir? He became an arahant and like.
He didn't kill his parents.
But he had killed so many people, right?
That's it. So if he faced the consequences of that, he faced the consequences of that. He was up. Even after becoming enlightened, he used to get beaten up, bleeding all over. And that happened for a long time. That's what the stories tell.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
No more questions, but maybe a request, कि आपकी जो मरणानुसति पे हम reflections कर रहे हैं, तो अगर हम 2 instances, कम से कम मुझे 2 का ख्याल आ रहा है, अगर हम उन पे practice कर सकें या ये समझ सकें कि इन situations के लिए हम कैसे ready हों. एक ये कि जब हमें पता हो कि हमारी मृत्यु let's say 3 to 4 months या 6 months में होने वाली है. One knows, kind of knows, जैसा कि terminal illnesses में होता है. और सेकंड ये कि अगर सडन डेथ आ जाए, तो इन दोनों के लिए व्यक्ति कैसे प्रिपेयर करे, अगर आप वो गाइडेंस हमें आगे आने वाले दिनों में दे सकें. That's a request.
Okay.
So one more thing is, if you can also do a session on Marananasati, because I don't remember when it happened. I'm sure many people must have missed it also, so that it can be like a very useful way for everyone to practice it on and off.
Yes, sir. Some guided meditation type of things.
Okay, so let us do it today. Remaining time, we do guided meditation.
Please.
Yeah, please. Fine. So if you want, if it is okay with everybody, then fine. Because if somebody has a tendency to get, fear arising or some such thing, then one can avoid it. But if everybody is okay, I can do it again today. It's because you have discussed so much, so it will be comparatively easy to sit and practice it. Okay. Is it okay? Chalo, so we can do that. Yeah, then. बिजली तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो धम्मा संबुद्धास्सा नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धास्सा नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धास्सा. So let's practice समथ भावना. इधर समथ भावना का अभ्यास करते हैं, मन को शांत कर लेते हैं. We can do with आनापाना or we can do with sound of silence. जो भी सुविधाजनक हो या कोई और जिस तरह से भी आप करते हो, मन को शांत करने के लिए थोड़ी देर अगर आप सांस के साथ साथ शरीर को जानने के अभ्यास कर रहे हैं वैसा कर लें, या सिर्फ सांस को एक जगह जानते हैं ऐसा करते हैं. 4-5 मिनट चुपचाप चित्त को शांत कर लेते हैं. The body is of the nature to die. शरीर का धर्म है कि वो समाप्त होगा ही. मृत्यु अवश्य भावी है, निश्चित है. कब होगी, कैसे होगी, सब अनिश्चित है. अब क्षण हो सकती है और सालों बाद हो सकती है. मृत्यु सिर्फ शरीर की है. भगवान कहते हैं नए तद्मम नए स्वमस्मि न मे सुवत्ताति. शरीर तो मेरा नहीं है, मैं नहीं हूँ, मेरी आत्मा नहीं है. भगवान ने कहा कि जो तुम्हारा नहीं है उसको त्याग दो, उसके प्रति कोई अटैचमेंट रखने की क्या जरूरत है. Let us visualize the situation like I had experienced in March this year. And the cardiologist in our society said, "You're getting a heart attack, rush to the hospital." Appropriate arrangement is done for transportation. I'm going. And the thought comes, is there any regret I have in my life? That's what we should investigate within those few moments. You never know whether you'll reach the hospital or not, and I don't know, it's not sure. But still, mind does work. So what direction should mind work? That's what I did. Is there anybody against whom I have a lot of aversion? If I have, I should drop it. Practice metta. May you be happy. May you be free from aversion, free from animosity, free from ill will, free from anxieties. Our daily chants, just remember. So if necessary, we practice metta. We are sure somebody has hurt me strong knowingly. We practice forgiveness. Kayeන vacha vachitsa sanghe kukamam pakatam mayayam sangho patiganatu vachantam kalantare sambharitam vasanghi. So I seek forgiveness from the Sangha, from the assembly of friends, people. If I have done anything wrong, so if they have done anything wrong in my perception, I forgive them. If I have done anything wrong, I seek forgiveness in my heart, so that the mind becomes quiet, calm. So I'm practicing Ahangavirohumi, Avyapanjohumi, Anigohumi. ये चिंता तो नहीं है मुझे. Any worry, any anxiety? What will happen to my dependents, my wife, my children? If there is worry, kammasya kammadayana, kammayoni, kammadan, kammapatisarana, kammam karissanti kalyanam vapapakamma, tassadayana bhavissanti. All beings are owners of their karma. I would have to keep on attaching. I wish them well. I practice metta, practice karuna, and give up all attachments. Because they're anyway going to drop. When I die, whether I wish or not, attachments are going to end. Why not do it consciously, happily? Sometimes we may be attached not just to people, but to certain of our perceptions, certain projects which we are very dear to us. I remember thought came, oh, mastery nahi bani yaar. If we die, it will be a sad thing. And thought came, yeah, that's okay. We are friends, our Sangha is there, Anish is there, Anish will take care, don't worry. Just drop that. Drop that minuscule worry. Friends are there. In any case, I am not going to do it myself. All collective efforts. Why take the responsibility and attach yourself to that? Just drop it. Any attachment to AVT? What will happen? Programs will go on. These are how the sense of self operates. The question is, are you doing it really? You have such a high ego? Oh, come on. Just happening due to conditions. And it just takes a few seconds and you just drop it. His mind is absolutely quiet, peaceful, come what may. If I die, that's perfectly fine. So, situation when that can happen immediately or within a few moments, within a few hours. Practice like that. So that there's no ill will, animosity, anxiety, worry about near and dear ones, worry about projects very dear to me or about us. We drop everything. Drop the sense of self. Check if there's any worry about dying. No, I have done good deeds. So you remember the Marananasati. I have done good deeds in life. No worry. So there's a time to practice Marananasati, Tyaganasati. And I die peacefully, in a good state of mind, and hopefully next birth will be good. There's a beautiful sutta in I don't know which Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya probably, Nakulupita Sutta. Nakulupita is seriously ill and seems he's going to die. And he seems very unhappy. And his wife is also very wise. And she asks him these questions. Why are you unhappy? Are you worried about me? Whether I'll take care of children? Whether I'll do the service of the Sangha? Whether I'll remarry? Whether I'll be able to look after the property, look after our animals? And one by one, the questions where the person is attached, she asks and makes him drop all that. And as he drops all those worries, all those anxieties, becomes peaceful. It so happens he starts recovering. And then they go to the Buddha and Nakulpita tells Buddha, this is what happened. And he says, yes, your wife is very wise. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That's how you should face the last moments. Anath Pindika I had mentioned yesterday. Acute pain, he's dying in acute pain, not able to handle it. And then Venerable Sariputta gives him graduated advice. Drop all attachment to eyes, ears, body, all senses, sensibilities, sense contact, sense consciousness, feelings arising, and so on. One by one, we drop everything, all attachments. And why is it important? Because when the period of death is a bit prolonged, slowly the faculties wither away. One is not able to hear, not able to see, not able to taste. And that creates enormous suffering if one is not able to understand the impermanence of all these things. So if we are able to counsel ourselves, give ourselves guidance, this is what's happening. They are all impermanent. They're not mine. They're not myself. They're not under my control. So we allow them to peacefully change. And when the moment of potential death is pretty near, obviously the mindfulness becomes, if one is a good meditator, becomes very strong. Mind doesn't go here and there. And when you are doing this inquiry and investigation, where am I trapped? Where am I trapped? Where am I trapped? Comes pretty fast. You can really comprehensive equanimity, upekha bhavana, and can see. And if there are some sticking points, just drop them. And one is fully prepared. So whether one recovers or not is inconsequential. Because it's the body which is going to die, not me. It doesn't belong to me. And if this has to happen at the moment of death, it will be possible only if I don't have very strong cravings and aversions. They have been already substantially diluted. If they're very strong, it won't be possible generally to drop them at the time of death. So it takes us back to how we should live. So Buddha's words, practice as if your head is on fire. Don't tolerate arising of unwholesome thoughts, arising of Krishna. As soon as it happens, be mindful and see it has come as a guest, and wait till it goes out as a guest. As an unattended guest, it goes out. So here's the example that if some dirt or some feces get stuck up even in a small cloth, how much we try to clean it quickly. But if aversion arises, cravings arise in the mind, we don't give that much attention to it. That's what has to be done. Whichever way, open awareness, source method, goal method, whatever. Arising and passing away has to be seen. Only then the intensity of the sankharas will not be very strong. They will be there at a very mild place. And when you practice meditation regularly, we allow them to cease. So constant alertness, constant self-investigation is the key to practice Marananasati also. And if you have advance notice of few months, well, everything can be done very properly planned, making sure first and foremost, the mind is equanimous. First and foremost, practice so that the mind is equanimous. And then all these things are done one by one. The worldly things can be handled, any responsibilities, any asset distribution, whatever. And the inert world can also be responded to. And strong aversions, strong sense of guilt, strong sense of remorse, we handle it and sort it out as quickly as possible. And inculcate positive things, gratitude, metta, karuna, mudita, upekha. So we have time, and then practice that in spite of the difficulty, because when one has time, one is ill and usually a lot of pain, suffering. But same thing has to be done. Only thing is, intensity of practice can be mild depending on the health. Sabbe sankhara chati yada panyaya pasati atanibindati dukkhe esamango visuddhya. Sabbe sankhara dukkhati yada panyaya pasati atanibindati dukkhe esamango visuddhya. Sabbe dhamma tati yatha panyaya pasati atanibindati dukkhe esamadho visuddhya. The point is, the mind should be maintained in upekha bhavana, so that we can see what is it is holding up the mind to the world. Sambaloke Nabhirati Sanya. Something is holding on to us, to the world, either delight or aversion. The quiet mind, we locate it and drop it to the extent possible, so that the last moments are peaceful to the extent possible. And for that practice, we take this forward and practice accordingly, so that every moment is Upekha Bhavana, every moment is peaceful, every moment is full of metta, karuna, mudita, upekha. May it be so for all of us. Thank you. Thank you.